The guys are down at the other end of the field picking up plastic. This was a tomato field. We dropped them last week. I bush hogged them, sprayed them with Liberty, and lifted the plastic earlier this week, I believe. And it seems to be coming up pretty good. And this was this year's strawberry crop. They got the plastic up from it a couple weeks back before all the rain. So this was super wet because the plastic got lifted before it started raining. So the dirt got all fluffy, and then we had, over the past 2 weeks, we have had 7.5 inches of rain, and it was cool and gray, so the water didn't really go anywhere. So we were just sopping wet. So this week, when I started lifting this plastic, which was beans and cucurbits over here beside the strawberries, the water was gone, surprisingly. It was still kind of wet in between the rows, but I guess under the plastic stayed mighty dry somehow. And the plastic lifter was literally just busting up hunks. It made the little Kubota earn its keep. So there's places in the field I think are going to work down pretty good, like where I'm at. This is pretty dang soft, but I think it's down in that low area right there against the woods where it was really just like breaking off pieces, like busting concrete, kind of like some of this type deal. So the moment I've been waiting for, we're going to find out what the Kubota has got in it. So a couple of years ago, when I initially started shopping for tractors, I was dead set I've got to have 100 horsepower four-wheel drive, and 100 horsepower four-wheel drive was just out of my budget. So that's the reason I didn't buy a tractor sooner. Even I guess the Kubota would be a M5 111 would be there, what I was looking at, and that's just really out of my budget at the time, or still is. So it wasn't until this year that I decided, well, maybe I can afford all the tractor that I think I have to have, because I've got the Ford that'll do about everything here as far as plowing and laying plastic. Maybe I could just get a little bit smaller tractor with a front end loader to get the spraying done and do 90% of the task. Well, once I've got it, I've found out it's a lot more capable than I thought it was gonna be. And what I'm fixing to do here is gonna be the ultimate capability test, because I have a 7-shank Taylor chisel plow. It does have gauge wheels on it. We'll talk about that in a minute. But with this ground being as hard as it is, a 7-shank chisel plow is going to be a lot for a 72 horsepower tractor. So let's go get on it and see what it'll do. It may stop it, I don't know. I'm not real concerned about going fast. I don't like going fast anyway, because I don't like to run fast across rough fields, because I like to take care of my stuff. But I just don't know that it's going to have enough weight to put the power to the ground. We'll see. All right, y'all. That's a whole lot of plow behind a little tractor. We'll see how this goes. I'm optimistic, but it is a lot of plow. If anybody, I know 15-inch tires are hard to come by these days. If anybody's in the market for a good gently used one, I've got one I'd let go at a good price. I actually tried to take these gauge wheels off, and I could not get the bolts broke loose. I didn't have as big an impact gun as I do now, so I might be able to take them off now, but I don't use them. I never have. That tire's been like that since I bought this chisel plow. I thought about just taking off and trying it in two-wheel drive, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in four-wheel. That's kind of silly. And I hadn't tried this until right now, so we all gonna find out together. How this is gonna do. To be fair to the tractor, it is tougher to pull something like this, trying to break up a hard pan when you're in 6 or 8 inches of very soft dirt, because it doesn't have anything to bite. Ooh. And y'all, I don't know that this is gonna work anyhow. It's trying to drag up vines pretty bad. Looks like we might have to run a disc car over this first, because looks like this might just make us a mess. That sucks. The worst part is hooking this dang chisel plow up. This is probably one of the least fun to hook up implements that I own. Once you get it hooked up, you kind of want to do your thing and finish without any more hooking or unhooking, but that's not going to work. It's dragging up. We should be able to go over here and try to plow the strawberries, because there's no vines over there to drag up. We'll try that and see. But my initial assessment is this thing needs more weight. It might would do pretty good if we were plowing a fresh field, as long as it was not hard as a brick. Land that hadn't been plowed lately, or had been plowed 12 months ago but was solid, I think it would do okay. But on this soft, the dirt that's soft on top just gives it too much place to spin. There's not enough traction. But we'll see how it does here in the strawberries. This is a little sandier, so the plow's going to pull easier, but traction is still going to be an issue. Alright, now here we are on some virgin, I guess we'll call it, ground. And to be fair to the tractor, this was a drive road. So this is the most compaction of anywhere in the field. And we're not breaking any land speed records, but 90 horsepower Ford tractor would be grunting pretty hard on this also. It would probably do it a little faster and grunt, but I mean, it's plowing it. It's not loving it. I have found that draft control is definitely your friend here. This is plowing much better than over there. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go hook to a disc, it looks like, in order to plow that. I'm gonna have to disc it first, get it chopped up. I am running my own track guidance. Kind of silly, don't really need it, except for I don't like mashing the clutch in and stopping. I like to just go in circles and It's really not a big deal, but I have it. It's sitting here. Why not turn it on? But when you have AB lines across the field, even if you're not following them precisely, you don't end up with a big long sliver you have to go back and work out. So I don't know, it's just kind of nice for that. And also it's measuring my acreage, so I'll know exactly how many acres I've got, and that's pretty dang handy there, because I know exactly how much plastic will fit per acre. And when I've got this thing telling me exactly how many acres I've got worked up, then I know when I get to the point that I need to be for my plastic. You may be wondering, why am I plowing this? And that's a good question. It looks like it would save a lot of fuel and time to just run a disc or a field cultivator over this, spread fertilizer, adjust the pH, lay plastic, roll on. But the problem that we have in plasticulture production, you have a ton of field traffic. It's, I guess, really vegetable production in general. You have a ton of field traffic, because we have to spray fungicides on nearly a weekly basis for just about everything we grow. That's the reason we leave the spray roads through the field. Well, they're kind of there for harvesting as well, but I call them spray roads because it's a weekly chore. Every once a week at night, I'm out here spraying something, depending on the need of the crop and the stage of the crop. So there's a lot of compaction in the spray roads, and there is a ton of foot traffic. And you wouldn't think that foot traffic would pack the soil that much, but you would really be amazed. I have a friend that has a corn, maize, and pumpkin patch, and he says every year when he runs after his corn maze is over with and he bush hogs it and he's getting ready to chisel plow it, that it will just about stop the tractor when you get to a place where the path went through the corn maze. So foot traffic does a ton of compaction, and whoop, made a little pile. And down in each and every row, depending on the crop, some crops get more foot traffic than others, but all crops get quite a bit down in between every row, which the way that we bed our land, it's kind of where the foot traffic goes is a place that's already prone to packing anyway, because it's closer down to the top, or the clay, the base, because a lot of the topsoil is pulled up into the beds. So the reason that I'm plowing is to try to break that hard pan up. And you can see in places here where some of the clay is starting to roll up. There was some other places right over there. I don't know how good it shows up through this filthy glass. There's some little ribbons of clay that are rolled up. That's a good sign. That means I'm down deep enough that I'm breaking that hard pan, hopefully, with the plow. The reason it's important to break up that hard pan is twofold. You need to be able to break the hard pan so that the soil will take water. And what I mean by take water is when it rains, we need the water to go down, not run off, but go down through the soil. And when you have got a hard pan, basically a layer that's kind of like concrete underneath of your topsoil, the water will not go in. It will run off. So the second reason is because the hard pan, kind of like concrete, the roots don't want to grow through it. Roots are, like a lot of people, kind of lazy. They want to take the path of least resistance. And when there is a hard pan there that's like topsoil on top of cement, the roots don't really like to grow down through it. We need that hard pan cracked up, busted up, to where the roots are able to go down deep. I've never really dug one up. It would be something fun to do, but dig up a strawberry plant real carefully and see what the root structure looks like. That would be pretty interesting. See actually how deep they go. I've seen a lot of that done on row crops where you can see the root of the plant in good healthy soil will sometimes be 3-4 feet down in the ground. It'll be interesting to see how deep strawberry roots or tomato roots go. But that's the reason why I'm plowing this, is to break up that hard pan, because it really doesn't appear from the outside looking in like I'm accomplishing much here other than burning fuel. But that's the whole objective, is to get rid of some of that compaction so that water and roots will go down. And even in a no-till setup around here where I'm at, you'll see a lot of row crop farmers will pull a ripper through their fields. Sometimes they'll rip the whole field, but a lot of guys just about every year will rip the places that have the most traffic, like the turn rows where you would turn the sprayer around or the combine around, and against the woods where tree roots stick out, because tree roots will rob a ton of water and nutrients from your crop. So even the no-till row crop guys around here pull a ripper through the fields, at least some of the field, generally about once a year. And their objective is the same as mine right here. And I guess a third reason, if you've got a pretty bad hard pan where your topsoil is worked up really good and your tillage only goes so deep, you have a problem with laying plastic mulch, in that the plastic mulch layer just wants to slide along that concrete hard pan, and you really won't have enough soil to fill the bed a lot of times. So I think rain flow, for my plastic mulch layer anyway, says that you need to have your soil worked to a depth of 8 inches in order to adequately bed. So I guess that's a third reason, is to be able to lay good plastic. So I think the moral of the story here is the Kubota handles this chisel plow fair. Not great. I believe when I get ready to do my winter tillage, get everything plowed and work down, cover crops on, probably either going to pull it with the Ford or maybe borrow my daddy's 4230 John Deere to pull this chisel plow. The other option, it's not a terrible one, would be to take 2 shanks off. This is a 7-shank chisel plow. You can take the 2 outside shanks off, have a 5-shank, and I would say this tractor would handle it just fine. But if it was the only option I had, I would for sure either just struggle through like it is and ground conditions have everything to do with how good a plow pulls too. So when a field has a ton of compaction, if the moisture level is not just right, it's going to plow mighty hard, no matter what you're plowing it with. Well, I don't know how good y'all can see it because I can't hardly see out of this dusty cab glass. But I've got the drag har hooked behind the disc har, and the old Kubota ain't liking it too much. There's an old saying, and if you're not familiar with engines, this may not make much sense to you, but I'll try to explain it. The saying goes, there's no replacement for displacement. And I think that's what not just my Kubota, but all new tractors are lacking. Because if you had let's just stick with the household brand name everybody's familiar with. If you had a 100 horsepower John Deere from the late 70s or early 80s, like my daddy's 4230 John Deere, that is a big 6-cylinder sticking off the front of that tractor. Not only that, but just the size and weight of that tractor is enormous. You can get a 5 Series John Deere now. Is it 5? Yeah, I think it's 5. 50 Series, whatever. John Deere now that is not much bigger than this Kubota with 100 horsepower. And just ain't the same thing. Same thing with the Fords back then and the New Hollands now. It's 100 horsepower tractor is not the same as a 100 horsepower tractor used to be. But what I'm saying is, I can spool the turbo on this Kubota all I want to, but it's never gonna generate the lugging power that a 75 horsepower tractor from 40 years ago had. But it is doing pretty good with this drag har behind this disc. I mean, considering, because this setup right here, when I pull it with that Ford tractor, is a pretty good load on it, and it spins a lot because it's 2-wheel drive. This one we are transferring more power to the ground, so it's taking a lot more power to do it. And I'm not dragging along too bad. We're running 4.5 miles an hour, which in a working field, that's moving on pretty good. I like to pull the drag har while I'm disking because it helps to break up the clods, which you want to have as few of clods as possible when you go to lay plastic. But it also helps to break down these root balls and spread the grass out. See, the field's working out pretty nice. This hill up here is kind of, I guess all the topsoil's down yonder now from all the years, but that hill's kind of red. The rest of the field's pretty sandy. It's working up pretty nice. Down here you can see it's real nice. The problem I'm gonna have trying to bed it is these dang root balls from this grass. So by dragging it while I'm disking it, it helps out a lot with that. I'm gonna have to work this at least one more time, maybe more. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna get out here and see what it looks like in the morning. Try to get this pass. This is my second pass disking. I'm gonna get out here in the morning and walk it and see how it looks. I might get the guys out here and pick up some of the worst of the root balls. They're kind of concentrated, so it's not like we're gonna have to walk the whole field and pick up grass. That'd be ridiculous. But there's certain areas where there's wads of grass that are a little worse. We might pick up some of that, because this is strawberries are an extremely expensive crop to plant. I figure it costs you about $10,000 an acre just to get the plants, get the plastic laid, and get them in the dirt. And then you're looking at about $10,000 an acre to pick them. So it's a $20,000 investment per acre to grow strawberries. So there's no room for taking a chance on anything. You have got to do the absolute best job you possibly can to give these things every opportunity you can, because you got too dang much money in them not to. I mean, I try to do the best I can on everything, but strawberries, there's very little room for error. So if you don't start good, you ain't gonna end good. The plants don't grow good when you don't have a good full bed. So it's vitally important that we get this first step as close to perfect as we can. Nothing's gonna be perfect, but that's why I put so much effort into strawberry bed prep. So we're also on a fairly tight time crunch here with all the rain. Getting mighty close to my aluminum pipe there. With all the rain, it kind of got us behind. Plus we had some crops up here we were trying to get off so that we could we were trying to get some crops off so we could get the plastic lifted, because I didn't want to just spray them and kill them, work them in. So that's why I'm running behind on this a little bit, that and the rain. But it's only the 20th of August today. We don't usually plant strawberries until late September, early October, but we're going to be running Vapam fumigant. I need a minimum of 21 days from the time I run that fumigant till the time we plant strawberries. So that's why I'm pushing so hard trying to get this plastic laid so that we can get the fumigant ran. But I'm gonna quit jacking my jaws here. I really need two hands for what I'm doing, and I appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully you found it interesting or entertaining or something. But if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. I appreciate y'all watching, and maybe on the next one we might be laying some plastic. We'll see how it goes. But I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you next time.